don't know why, but every time I start back up on the work, no matter what kind of crochet piece I'm working on, I always have to like gather my thoughts in my head like, okay, did I end here? Did I end there? Where's the beginning point? What stitch am I doing? All that. I mean, it makes sense because you want to have a uniform piece, but like I was saying before, when you're working with no pattern or when you do a lot of stopping and starting, like I do, because I just kind of work on my pieces for however length of time that I feel like. And then, um, I'll put it down, I'll come back to it. I have a strong belief that if you do something when you don't feel like it, or if you do something with any sort of emotion outside of like the want and the will and the love for the work in general, it puts like a negative energy into the piece. And we don't want no negative energy into our crochet pieces, especially when they made for precious little babies, right? So we're going to make sure that all of our crochet work is done with love, aren't we? Aren't we? My dog is just sitting here in front of me staring at me like, why are you talking to yourself? What are you doing? Are you going to come up here and see me now? You going to come up here and see me? Hmm? You come say hi to the people that watch you on YouTube? You come up here? Come up here? You come say hi. No, you're just gonna sit there and stare at me? Okay. So one thing I was kind of worried about, oh, there she is. There's my baby girls. Hi. Hi, babies. Hi, babies. Who's my good babies? Who's my goodest, huh? Is it you? Is it you? You're my goodest? Yes, you are. One thing I was kind of worried about is when I do start, making this strap part smaller when it goes around the neck area so that it can be thinner here and be more like a V-neck, like I was saying before. I want to make sure that when I do the other side, that it's that I start doing smaller and smaller. What are you doing? That I start doing smaller and smaller rows at the same point, because I don't want it to be uneven. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and start that. Let's see, let's count how many rows we got here so far. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. No. 13? Yeah, 13. Wait, let me make sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Yeah, 13. Alright, let's do one more row, because 13, we don't want to end on 13. We're going to end on 14 instead. That's a better number, huh? And then we'll start decreasing the number in the rows. don't know if anybody is following along to make a jumper of their own. I don't know if anybody else makes clothing for, you know, obviously if they have actual babies, but I don't have any actual babies. All of my actual babies are grown and are not babies anymore. So what I have, like I was saying before, as a model is a reborn baby. So I don't know if anybody else who follows along has a reborn baby that they make clothes for. But if y'all do, let me know down in the comments, okay? Let me know if y'all make clothes for the reborn babies, if y'all purchase clothing for the reborn babies, if y'all name your babies. I assume you name your babies. And, you know, I've seen other people's videos with the reborn babies. I know there's a pretty big community of people who use the reborn babies for many different things. Some for therapy purposes, some just for entertainment, some just because they like to play with their babies, right? And I think that the videos I enjoy the most are the people who have the reborn babies, and they have like a whole room where they have all their babies, you know, like they have little toddler babies, and they have like little newborn babies, and everybody has their names, and they have their little cribs and everything. And their videos consist of like them going in and like changing their baby's clothes, or like changing their baby's diapers, or like a daily, we call it like a daily routine with the baby. I like those videos. I find them to be soothing. I don't know why. There's a lot of different videos I find to be soothing that I don't know why. A lot of things you like and you don't know why you like it, right? But you like it. Alright, so now I'm at row 14 on one of the straps. I'm going to start decreasing the number. So I want to make sure that I have a straight edge on the outer part of the strap that will go you know, toward the shoulder, and then I will have a side that's narrowing inward that goes on the side where the neck is for the baby. So that way the V-neck is around the neck and not around the shoulder or something weird, or turned around backward. So y'all let me know in the comments if you prefer the handmade clothing for your reborn babies. If y'all have any reborn babies, I'd like to know if you name your babies, what your babies' names are. I'd love to know. I'd love to hear about it. Alright, now let me think. How do I want to decrease this? I think... Okay, I've already done that. I think I'll just bring it in and I think I'll just skip a stitch to bring it in. And we'll go from there. We'll see how that looks. Just skipping a stitch. I'm just doing single crochets on the strap, so they're pretty tight. It's a pretty tight stitch. It's not stretchy at all. Not like down here. This I did single crochets, but I did them in the back loop only, so it's a little more stretchy, this part. The strap is not stretchy though, because it's a full single crochet in both loops. So hopefully there won't be any sort of holes or anything like that for having skipped a stitch. When I started crocheting, it was actually the summer of the lockdown, right? When we went into lockdown in the year 2020, I decided to entertain myself first by watching stuff on Netflix that I liked watching. I got really into, what was I watching then? Oh, it was like the Chinese royal house dramas, like Yangtze Palace and what was the other one? There's another one that I really liked. Royal Feast, I think it was called. Anyway, I started watching those, and then I also really like the Netflix like zombie the zombie series. I think it was called Sweet Home. I remember watching that. I think that came out during the lockdown, or at least I watched it during I think it was during the lockdown. I know it was only a few years ago, you guys, but it feels like it was about a million years ago now. I don't know if anybody else feels like that. Oh, and the other thing I did during the lockdown, you guys, was save like every kind of funny meme from the 2020 bingo list meme. Those cracked me up so bad. I was like, you know how people will type LOL and they'll just be sitting there staring at the screen. They're not even laughing. Man, I swear, those memes cracked me up so bad. Like, I would be crying laughing. I was really actually laughing out loud. Speaking of acronyms and, you know, 3-letter stuff that you put onto text messages, this is funny. This is going to show y'all my age, but when I first started, like, texting, when I first started texting and I didn't know what any of them 3-letter things meant, I saw some people saying LOL, and I thought it was an acronym for Laugh Online. So for the longest time, man, I thought when people would write LOL that that it was supposed to mean they were laughing online. Like, my brain, I don't know what I was thinking about that, but it was obviously being silly that day or that year or whatever. I don't know if anybody else has some funny stories from when they're just started using the electricity devices, huh? Let me know down in the comments if y'all have any funny stories about what y'all did or what y'all thought stuff meant or whatever. Anyway, back to my story about when I started crocheting. So during the lockdown in the year 2020, I decided that I was going to, because I got bored with watching television programming, and I decided that I was going to teach myself how to crochet. So I did that. I taught myself how to crochet, and it did take me a long time to really feel like I was any good at it. But I started out making kind of bigger things. and then went to making smaller things. Like I started out making clothing. Like I made a t-shirt, was one of the first things I made. Purple t-shirt I sent to one of my daughters. And then I was making a bunch of other clothing, and then I started making large stuffed animals that I sent to my kids. One of the large stuffed animals I made was like a cat pillow. It was like a bolster pillow, so it had like a long body, and or it wasn't a cat pillow. The picture that I used as inspiration for that was, it was a cat pillow was the picture I used for inspiration, but the piece that I actually made was a corgi, because that was my favorite, or that was my daughter's favorite animal at the time, and so that's what she got, was a corgi pillow. And then I made a big bumblebee, and then I made a moon pillow, like a half moon pillow, crescent moon pillow. But they were all big pieces, you know. And then I went from making big pieces to making small pieces, or the amigurumi pieces. The smaller pieces, you can see a lot of the progress work and a lot of the finished work from some of my older videos that are still on this channel, or on my Instagram at the Sweet Whim on Instagram. Anyway, those smaller pieces, they're like keychains, and they're like little character pieces. There's like a Baymax character I made. There's a smaller Hello Kitty with a blue dress that I made, and a Gutadama. I think that's how you say it, the Gutadama. And then I started making some other Sanrio characters that I thought were really cute. And I started making some My Melody and the Kuromi pieces. I made a velvet cuddler that was a Kuromi piece. Or it was going to be a Kuromi piece anyway. But as I was saying in the tutorial for that one, the chunky velvet yarn that I had for the body of that, that yarn was so soft and so nice, and I loved it so much. And when I went to go get black yarn to make the hat and the collar for the Kuromi character, you know how she has the like jester's hat looking thing and the collar? So I couldn't find any black chunky velvet yarn that felt as good, but I had already explained that before in that tutorial. But the reason I'm talking about the Kuromi and the My Melody characters is because I stopped making Kuromi things, even though the Kuromi themed things that I made, the little tiny dolls that I made some amigurumi dolls, some really small ones. They're like They're like that big. And then I made the big Kuromi cuddler pillow. And those were really well received here on YouTube and also on Instagram. A lot of people showed a lot of interest in those characters. And I started to kind of look into, because, you know, when I started making the Kuromi character stuff, I just made it because I liked it. I thought it was cute. And I liked the other Sanrio characters. So I made those pieces. And then I started looking into the history of those characters. And I looked into the Kuromi character in particular because that was the one that was the most popular, and it probably is still the most popular. And I think that Sanrio probably has, you know, pure intentions as far as their character development goes for their creations, right? Just like I did. But when I started looking into it, it occurred to me that the Kuromi character looked a lot the way that the new plushes and the clothing that the plushes were wearing, the Kuromi characters, they were wearing like little maids outfits. And that's what made me kind of look into the I don't know if it's called Lolita goth culture, which is absolutely fine for adults to cosplay in whatever characters that they think are cute or whatever types of, you know, attire they think they feel cute in, or whatever they like. That's fine for adults, right? But I started looking into the maid culture and the whole Lolita goth thing because I didn't want to promote an idea of something that I felt uncomfortable with myself. Like, I do not feel comfortable with the idea of females being objectified. And so when I looked into the maid culture in the aspect of cosplaying as a maid, and particularly the Lolita culture. So I looked into it, and it was kind of disturbing, you guys. It was kind of dark, and you know, it brought up real things that are still in existence today, like maid cafes and stuff, which I think is, you know, that's cute. That's fine if you want to go in and you want to have a good time as an adult. But I think there's just this underlying sinister thing with, like, objectifying females, first of all, putting females into skimpy outfits, and then also directing that objectification of females toward children or toward the youth, right? I just found the whole thing to be sort of disturbing, to be perfectly honest. So, you okay over there, girl? My dog's hacking up over there. I think she finds it disturbing as well. Anyway, so that's why I stopped making the Kuromi stuff, even though it was really popular. And, you know, I still think it's really cute, and I still think you can completely have an innocent intention, you know, in collecting Kuromi Sanrio charactered things and, you know, the maid culture charactered things. I think you can have a completely innocent point of view and a completely innocent intention in doing all of that. I'm not saying I'm judging anyone. I'm just saying myself personally, I felt uncomfortable with the idea of promoting something that I was previously uneducated about. And so once it occurred to me to educate myself about what that whole look really meant, because the Kuromi character went from, the stylings of the Kuromi character went pretty quickly from sort of just the hat and collar jester looking thing as sort of a cutesy dark side thing to complement the My Melody character, which is like pink and white. You know, you had the My Melody character, which was pink and white, and then you had the Kuromi character, which was white and black. So they kind of like, you know, I felt like they kind of went together, or maybe they were marketed together. I don't know, I can't remember, but anyway, that's just not how it evolved pretty quickly. I feel like the character evolved pretty quickly to be wearing these Lolita looking little outfits, little maid outfits. And, you know, like I said before, this is something that's a personal preference, and I'm not judging anybody who likes that style or who likes the Kuromi character or anything like that, but that's just why I stopped making it. And I focused on other things besides amigurumi pretty quickly after that. And to be honest, I was waiting a good long while to make baby clothes. I had wanted to make baby clothes pretty quickly after I started teaching myself how to crochet. But like I said before, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I wanted to, first of all, be more skilled at making the baby clothes. And I also wanted to make sure that I would be able to make the baby clothes without being upset about not having an actual baby to put the clothes on. So I don't know if anybody can relate to that. But if you can, if you feel comfortable sharing your story or any thoughts about any of the stuff that I talked about, I'd love to hear from you guys. Bye.